It is a complete ban. Indoor, outdoor, whether you're on a permanent shooting range or you're out there in the field. A complete ban. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callum, this is English Shooting, and let's get into the video. The subject of lead has been a pretty hot topic over the previous few years, and it was something I was going to recap with all the developments over the past 12 to 18 months. Unfortunately, there's something pretty significant to now cover, with some pretty bad news confirming all of our worst fears, with the government laying out exactly what they intend to do when it comes to lead ammunition here. So what are the highlights of these new restrictions? Well, starting with lead shot. It is going to ban the sale and use of any lead shot cartridge. That's any cartridge containing more than 1% lead. And because it bans both the sale and the use, you're not going to be able to go out there and stockpile for the next 20 years to see the rest of your shooting career through. When this comes in 3 years on from summer 2026, so we're looking summer 2029 for this to come in effect, you will no longer be able to use or buy lead shot ammunition. That's for any purpose. It is a complete ban. Indoor, outdoor, whether you're on a permanent shooting range or you're out there in the field. A complete ban. The only exemptions for lead shot specifically are going to be for elite athletes, and these are going to be for Olympians and Paralympians. Around 50 they estimate. There will only be 50 people in the entirety of the UK for those specific sports that will be able to continue using lead shot. I can imagine there are going to be a lot of hurdles for those athletes to continue. Unless you are going to the Olympics, unless you are going to the Paralympics, you will no longer be able to use lead shot in any capacity. For lead projectiles, excluding lead shot, so lead bullets, the ban isn't as significant, but it's not likely to be any less damaging. It's really focusing on hunting, so for hunting there will be a complete ban on lead projectiles for any caliber greater or equal to 6.17 millimeters or 243. So if you're using a 243 or above for hunting, that will be completely banned. Any caliber smaller, 22 LR, 223 or lead pellets for air guns will remain. There is no restriction whatsoever for any caliber below the 243 or below 6.17 millimeters. That's for hunting and for target shooting. For calibers greater than 6.17 millimeters for target shooting, there will be some exemptions available for permanent outdoor shooting ranges. For ranges that can demonstrate a minimum lead recovery rate, they will be able to continue using any caliber they want. So overall, it will be just the hunters that are most affected by this, but fortunately they have seen some sense with the lack of viable replacements for smaller calibers such as 22LR and airgun pellets. They will be completely unaffected for hunting and for target shooting. There are also a few complete exemptions to all of this. The first being for police, military, government, security services, private maritime security companies, and border force. We've also got an exemption for the technical testing and development of materials and products by academic institutions. And the last exemption is for museum collections, so they may continue to hold lead ammunition and obviously acquire it for their collections. Every area of shooting sports, every discipline should be fighting tooth and nail for each other and the whole of shooting sports. everybody is going to be affected one way or another. And I know that each discipline, each area of shooting is going to try and cry the loudest to say that they are going to be the most affected out of all of this. And being a practical shooter, I'm no different, because reading through this, practical shotgun is going to be completely eliminated. Practical shotgun uses steel targets. You cannot safely shoot steel shot at steel targets. Even if we do change to a different material target, even if we can continue it in some capacity, we will not have a level playing field when we go abroad. We are going to be at a significant disadvantage just when the GB squad and GB teams are doing so well. At the recent European Shotgun Championships, a level 4 continental match, there were multiple podiums. There were multiple champions from GB. This is a sport that we excel at the highest level, and it's going to be decimated. There is no argument that we have elite athletes here within the UK competing within IPSC practical shotgun, winning on the world stage, and no consideration has been made for them. They have said that they are perfectly happy to allow these 50 elite athletes, these Olympians and Paralympians, to continue using lead shot, because they estimate there will still be a 99.3% reduction, meaning that these 50 elite athletes alone are currently contributing 0.7%. This 0.7% translates to an estimated 37.52 tons. Within practical shotgun here in the UK, we often have level 3, level 2 and level 1 matches. For a level 3, you'll have 4 a year with a maximum of 150 people taking part and an average maximum round count of 250 cartridges. For a level 2, you'll get about 75 people attending, shooting 150 cartridges, and there'll be at maximum 8 a year. And level 1's just your average club competitions, maybe 20 a year with a maximum of 50 people taking part and a round count of 100 cartridges. If you say on average it's a 30-gram load that all of those competitors are using, this would translate to 10.2 tons. And of course that doesn't include practice, but if you say that for every competition, be that a level 1, level 2, level 3, each competitor is taking part in 2 practice sessions, which from my personal experience is nowhere near the ratio, although it probably should be. That is an absolute maximum of 30.6 tons. And this isn't just a small group of 50 elite athletes. You're talking about the entirety of the UK PSA members. You are talking about up to 1,500 people contributing a maximum of 30.6 tons. So they're perfectly happy to allow 50 to continue emitting 37.52, but 1,500 emitting 30.6, that is too far. It's time now for our organisations to truly step up. BASC have made an absolute mess of this from the start, and whilst I understand the play they were making, let's voluntarily transition away from lead so that we don't have a lawful ban of it and we can still continue to use it. I completely get that play. It was a good idea, but definitely poorly executed, and it's now made this fight even harder. So these fighting funds, these working groups need to do absolutely everything they can to continue fighting if it's still at all possible. For everybody else out there, every shooter that will be affected by this, you need to be writing to your MPs. We need to continue the fight until the fight is over. We cannot roll over. I'm not seeing this as the end. I'm still seeing this as the potential to fight, and we should not give up on that fight. Email your MPs, email your organizations, and keep fighting against this. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope somehow, in some way, you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you hit that like button. And of course, as always, I hope to see you soon.